Yeah, good morning, everybody. I'll give us a statement leading into the game tomorrow. First of all, Danny, I appreciate your text. I'm always hesitant to say things because as soon as you say something and you stub your toe, people can't wait to throw it in your face. But we do have a pretty good women's basketball team here, and if you want to get in the Irwin Center for any other reason, it'd be a good reason to come watch them play. They're pretty good. So I appreciate the text, and it's kind of like this media. I don't understand why we do it Zoom and everybody else has it in person, but it's kind of the way things are at Texas, I guess. But appreciate everybody being here. Excited about my team playing well. Great road win at West Virginia. So proud of them, their toughness. I love their approach right now. Again, who knows what tomorrow holds? All we can control is today. But I think we've been able to, down the stretch here, we've been able to find 5 or 6 that are really reliable, night in, night out. We know what we're going to get from them, and they've been really steady. And then we have 2 or 3 others that, if you hit them on the right day and the right night, they can obviously provide something really good as well. So I can't see everybody on here, but we got a big challenge in front of us going to Manhattan. And obviously going to play against an incredible team, well coached. Coach Mitty does a great job. Obviously an incredible post player, one of the best players in the country by far. And it takes a complete and total team effort to try to handle and deal with her. But then again, if you take your eyes off the rest of them, I mean, they're all really good. He's got a bunch of really good freshmen too. And, it's really a double-edged sword. You take your eye off any of those guards out there, they can hurt you. And obviously you got to really pay attention to detail with Aoka. So we got a big challenge in front of us, but I've been really pleased and proud of my team. I like the way we've been able to approach things lately, and our attention to things. And again, the one non-negotiable is the competitiveness, the competitive spirit. That's just non-negotiable. And I think what I've found is I've been able to rely on a certain number of kids every day, every game, that they're going to give me that. And as a coach, that's all you can ask for. You just want kids that want to compete, that are tough, that aren't afraid of competition, that aren't afraid of being competitive. And then the chips fall where they may at that point. So.
All right, go ahead, Roger.
Vic, we talked a few weeks ago about Rory absorbing, the grind of this first college season. I don't know if she heard us or something's happened, but she seems to have kind of found another gear, another point of energy.
Well, here's the thing about Rory Harmon, y'all. She epitomizes competitive spirit. I mean, you're talking about, you could go with her and Audrey and Joe right now, not taking anything from anybody else, because we have, like I said, I've found about 6 or 7 that, but Rory always gets the other team's point guard. Audrey always gets the other team's best player, 2, 3, and 4, for the most part. Joe did a great job on 11 the other day because Audrey had to deal with Esmeri. But they have, Rory, and talking about Rory, she sets the tone with her defensive presence as much as what she does offensively. And so the kid doesn't take any plays off. So consequently, she plays really hard on defense just about every possession. And sometimes that might affect her offense a little bit when, you might think, that might not be a great shot or, something else. But the kid is special. And it's because of her competitive nature, her competitive spirit, and her drive. I mean, she is really, and again, at this time of the year, y'all, you're not a freshman anymore. You know, she's not a freshman anymore. She played over, she's played over 716 minutes. You're not a freshman anymore. And I think that's what you're seeing is her development, her maturity, her confidence. And again, she's been in the gym, y'all. She's shooting every day. She's working on her craft. And I just think that, and she's coming to understand she's got a responsibility of running a team, not to mention, you know, she's got to handle her business as well. So I think you're really seeing her, you know, come of age at a really young age. Hey, she wasn't the freshman of the week for ESPNW. She was player of the week. And, you know, again, I was talking to Mike Carey at West Virginia. I mean, he's like, she's hands down the best freshman in the league, but she should be, you know, she's one of the best players in our league right now, playing at a really high level. Lots of kids can score, y'all. Lots of kids shoot it all the time. You look across the country, there's kids scoring a lot of points and they don't have, like, they don't shoot it at a good percentage, but everybody wants to talk about what their numbers are. We'll talk about their shooting percentage. Then we can talk about, okay, well, she might get 25 a night, but she's shooting 38%, 35%. And so I think that, you know, again, in talking about Rory, she's just really here lately, like you said, she's playing at a really high level and still has so much responsibility to be a freshman.
Could I ask one more? When you put Shay in the lineup after the 3-game skid, she seems to kind of bring something different. What does it say about her to, you know, wait her turn and then respond the way she has?
Well, here's the thing, y'all. Here's the difference in our team lately. We're not fouling as much. You know, one stat that's real important to me is I want to make as many free throws as my opponent attempts. In the last 5 games, we're within 5 of that. Okay. And we're not fouling as much and we're making our free throws. But so when you're not fouling as much, then you're not putting the other team on the free throw line either. Right. And so again, when you look at what Shay's brought to the table in the last 5 games, she's shooting 55%. She's only turned the ball over 5 times in 5 games, which is really good. And again, she helps us rebound. She's the most, you know, she's the fastest kid on the team. I mean, I showed showing our team yesterday, I think. She's not even in the picture frame, y'all, on Sunday in a transition. We're getting back in transition defense. It's 2-on-1, West Virginia against us. And she comes from not even being in the picture of the half court to coming in and making a play on the backside to keep them from laying it in. She did it at Texas Tech. The kid just plays hard. And again, she's just doing what we need her to do. You know, she's, like I said, she's shooting the ball at a high level. She doesn't take bad shots. You know, she's averaging 7 points a game right now and just doing her job. She doesn't hurt me defensively that much, no more than anyone else, but she doesn't turn it over. She doesn't take bad shots. And she makes plays all over the court on both ends. So again, y'all been on Twitter. Go listen to Nick Saban talk for 2 minutes about the 3 kids that went through the whole year, didn't do their job, didn't bring their, didn't work. All of a sudden in the national championship game, they're thrown into the national championship game and they don't play well and they lose the game. It's great for kids to hear that, because just because maybe, in January, February, some people have earned spots and there's a rotation, doesn't mean you just stop working. And that's a great example. He talks about it specifically three guys that, because they weren't starting, because they weren't playing a lot, they just didn't do their job and keep working. And then all of a sudden, now they got to play in a national championship game. They can't function, can't play. And they weren't ready. So consequently, the team got beat. I think you're asking about Shay. Shay has kept working. I put her on the men's practice team back in November, and she said, okay, I'll go over there. And that keeps me on the floor. It allows me freedom to work on my game. And she did that. And this is the result.
All right, go ahead, Danny.
Vic, when you review film of the first K-State game, were you pleased with the way y'all defended Aoka, or were there things that you felt this team could have done better in that game?
I was really pleased. I thought it started with our guard play. Really, how we pressured the ball and were able to kind of push them out on the floor a little bit. Obviously, Lauren and Deanna both were a different look for her. And we did a nice job down there, obviously defending her. So we've got to have the same, attention to detail down there. You can't take a play off, because if you do, she buries you. I mean, she's just so good. And there's got to be, there's things just have to happen a certain way down there for us to have a chance to guard her. You're talking about an incredibly skilled kid, great hands, great feet, soft touch. I mean, she's a load. So you've got to, and you can't help off anybody saying, I'll shoot it. I mean, it'd be different if you could go, that one's shooting 10% out there, that one's shooting 50. It's not the case, y'all. So it's really, really hard guarding them.
I know you and Cullen kind of had to do the job of reporter in the post game at West Virginia when it came to getting Deanna to talk a little bit, but did she kind of need a confidence boost in that game? Was that game a confidence boost for her?
Should have been. I mean, she was 6 for 13, Danny, and could have easily been 8 or 9 for 13. She missed 2 or 3 right at the cup. And, she's still got long way to go, a lot of work to do. She gets caught behind on defense way too much, and did that day. But, again, she is no different than any other freshman in that she's learning how hard you have to play at this level in order to be successful. And I just think, again, you're talking about a kid that's been hurt over the course of her career. She's probably still, every day, every other day got, some discomfort still. And yet she's really battled through that. So I'm really proud of Dee. Again, it ain't easy doing what we do. And she gets better. She's going to get better. And Deanna Gaston has a chance, as I've said since she's been here, to be a really, really special player for us.
All right, Chip, go ahead. You're on mute.
Vic, sorry about that. Vic, Aaliyah Matharu, can you talk about what you need from her? And also Lauren Ebo, what you've seen from her in these last.
So we'll go with Lauren first. Lauren has just gotten better, y'all. She's really, improved in so many ways, starting with her conditioning, ability to get up and down the floor and really play for an extended period of time. She's really done a good job. I think her whole mental approach, her attitude has just been way different the last month and a half even, but month for sure. She's really smart. We don't have to bring any help for her when she's down there guarding somebody. She can handle her business. And I think that's always special when you've got a player, guard or post, that, hey, I don't need any help. I'll handle mine. Y'all just take care of yours. And especially in the post. So, Lauren's big reason why we're playing better. And again, not shooting the ball great, but better in the last few games. It's much better. and much different, versus the whole conference season. She's 10% better her last 5 games versus the entire conference season. So as far as Aaliyah goes, just, she's just a really, explosive player and has been in foul trouble a lot, and just need her to stop fouling. It's not only bad for her, and it puts her on the bench and takes one of our better offensive players off the floor, but it creates team fouls for the other team and then puts them on the line. And so just trying to get her to understand the importance of that, not take so many chances. And again, the other piece for her is just, she's got to make shots when she's open, and then make good decisions. She'll penetrate a little bit, and sometimes does a great job. Sometimes gets in a little trouble because of her size. She just got to make a few more better decisions and then defend. She knows that. You got to be able to defend and she'll step in front and take a charge for us. So really, I think the big thing for her is just got to stay out of foul trouble, and stop fouling. She had been I think the first 8 out of 10 games, she had 4 fouls, in conference. So, but, hopefully we can get her kind of untracked and get her loose again and get her playing at a real high level.
All right, Terry, go ahead.
Coach Schaefer, thank you for being with us today. So, you talked about the competitive spirit. That's like a non-negotiable. Can you share with us what happens behind the scenes leading up to a game, the discipline that it takes? What are these players doing that we never get to see? We get to see the final result of that, but it takes what I'll call extreme discipline to even be on the court, to be on the team, but then to play at another level. What does that look like behind the scenes that we don't get to see?
Yeah, I think I say this all the time. You all people, our fans, have no idea how hard these kids work. And it's the habits that we teach. It's the way it's not what we do, but how we do it that separates us from the rest of the country. That's kind of always been my thought process. And so for these young ladies, hopefully it's the discipline, it's the structure, it's the accountability of how we do things. And that's hard. It's hard look, y'all, what I just said, accountability and discipline is hard just for anybody, not just young kids. And so I think for you all, if you were to come to our practice and you saw the accountability that our kids have, the accountability for, you don't get a block out, you're up and down out of the stands real quick. You don't get you have a turnover right now, you're up and down out of the stands. It's just the way we do things and how hard we practice. I think you ask our kids, they'll tell you practice is way harder than a game. And so I think it has to be, I was talking to Joe and Audrey yesterday. I said, "Hey guys, y'all having fun?" And they said, "Yeah, coach, we're winning." And I said, "Okay." I said, it's important to me that my kids are having fun because they are winning. They are having we're doing some really special things and they have a chance to continue to do that. But because we work so hard, and look, y'all, we just came off the road at West Virginia. We flew up Saturday, got up early Sunday morning, played an early game, flew back, got back late. I had 7 or 8 kids in study hall Sunday night at 8:00. They went, you want to know what it looks like for these kids? Those kids went to study hall. I went with them. I was there with them, just making sure they were on time. We get up yesterday, we practiced. Today we're back practicing. We're back on a plane. Now we're going to Manhattan. I mean, it's not easy what these kids are doing. And I say it all the time. It's really hard being a student at Texas. It's really hard being an athlete at Texas. And it's incredibly difficult being a student athlete at Texas. So behind the scenes, what you don't see, you see an incredible work ethic. I mean, Joanne Allen Taylor, 3.7, mechanical engineering. I'd hate to see what that looks like behind the scenes. I mean, I wasn't the best student anyway, right? And I know what my scenes look like. So it's just, I have so much respect and admiration for them, knowing how hard it is to do what they're doing.
I guess that's what you'd call forging of championships and champions.
Well, we're trying. And I think that's the hard part, y'all, right now, is teaching kids what that looks like. It's just so hard. It's so different at this level. These young kids, everybody wants to play. I get it. But it's unfortunately, sometimes it's a process in getting to the point where you can play, that you think you're playing hard, but really there's a whole nother level of what playing hard looks like. And that's what behind the scenes in practice, that's our job, to teach them that they have a whole nother level that's necessary for us to be successful and play. And so anyway, it's, these kids work hard, and I'm awfully proud of them.
Thank you.
All right. Roger, do you have another one?
Sorry, Vic, it seems like this is a pretty good example of how long the season is when you think about the ebbs and flow of a win at Stanford, top 10 ranking, little bumpy road. Now you guys are playing really well again. Is that a message that when things are going bad and things are going well, that you remind your kids that it is such a grind, but we are, approaching March here now?
Well, I just think it's an example. We've been in the top 10 twice and we haven't handled it well. And I was kind of glad to see we came in at 11 this week, just from a superstitious standpoint. Although I think right now we're playing better than some teams in front of us, but that's nor here nor there. I think it's a great example, though, Roger, of our kids just continuing to work. We ran into a little bumpy road. Okay, I get it. Everybody around here thinks the sky's falling. You guys are, oh my God, when are y'all going to be able to do this? It's part of a long, hard grind of a season, right? And I just think we put our head down and we go to work. We don't just say, oh, well, it is what it is, and it's almost February, or it is February. And y'all heard me say this. We got what we got. That's just not how I'm built, and it's not how our team's built. We continue to work. We identify our issues, and then we go try to fix them. And I think that's the accountability piece of any, team, corporation, university, entity. When things aren't good, when you have some things that need to be addressed, you address them. You look in the mirror and you go fix them. And again, I give our kids credit. We're still a work in progress. Good Lord. I mean, we're got to go on the road and play a really good top 30 team tomorrow night. I mean, it's going to be hard on the road. We still have, 4 games left, 4 rival games left in the Big 12. I mean, it's not easy doing what we do, and especially now in late February, this is when teams either rise to the top or they disappear. And I'm proud of our team in that we've really, I think, continued to get better. Now, I don't have any idea what tomorrow looks like yet, or next week, next Saturday, or the following week. But I know what this team will continue to work and compete. We found enough players that when the lights come on, I feel real confident in.
All right, go ahead, Danny.
Vic, going back to Rory, when she came in and throughout this season, have you asked her to lead with her voice, or is that something you've said, let Joe and Audrey handle that? Maybe that a freshman shouldn't be the vocal leader of this team, or how has she been in that aspect of her game?
Yeah, she's learning to accept that responsibility, I think. And, Joe doesn't speak up a lot, but when she does, people listen, because usually by the time she's speaking, she's unhappy with something. And so Audrey is in and out of leading from a vocal standpoint as well. I think both those kids, her and Joe, you know, when they do speak up, they've usually had enough. Rory, I've talked to her about that as the point guard. You've got to be a vocal leader. And again, she leads by example every day. She has instant credibility from a standpoint of how she plays the game. I mean, you want to know what it looks like. You know, when you talked about, you know, Terry asked me what's going on behind the scenes, what's in practice. You come to our practice today and you watch us defense the floor. Rory Harmon will be first. She will be 100%, just like it was the first day of practice. There'll be some other guards that won't be 100%. They'll just be getting through a 3-minute drill. Not Rory Harmon. And so again, she has instant credibility, I think, with her teammates, and I need her to be that vocal leader, Danny, you know, and I think she'll grow into that. I think she'll be really comfortable in that role, and I need her to be.
All right, Chip, you wanna?
Vic, along those lines, I was going to ask you if you're having to do all the leading or if it's becoming more player led. I mean, but you take us through it.
Yeah, I think my staff and I have had to be those leaders for the most part, which is fine. I've had some really good teams win a lot of games, win championships, and the coaches have to be the leaders. So it's fine. It just comes with the job. I don't think you just throw your hands up, go, oh, we don't have any leadership, not going to be a good team. That's not the case at all. I think coaches, you know, understand what, you know, where they are with that. And then they pick up the slack wherever it needs picking up. Again, I think our future's in great hands with the leadership in this freshman class. I think those kids can all become great leaders for us down the road. And again, I love that about this team. Again, I think Joe and Audrey, when they do speak up, people listen. They have a voice, they have a presence. And so it's just you know, it's kind of the way it is sometimes with athletics and teams. Every team's different, right? And hey, some teams have bad leadership, right? They got people whining and complaining and, you know, being bad in the locker room. And that's not the leadership you need either. And so and again, it's hard for kids to stand up to a friend, you know, when that's going on. And so, you know, each team, each season has its own circumstance.
All right, we'll do one more. Go ahead, Terry.
Coach Schaefer, can you just talk about what it would mean to both, not only you, but the team for these last two games at the Frank Irwin Center, just to have a packed house, you know, as we close down Irwin Center and go into the Moody, having fans come out to support the team, what would that mean?
Yeah, Terry, I'm really frustrated with, you know, the lack of fan support for our kids. And I appreciate the ones that do come. No question. But as y'all know, I came from a place where, you know, we were top 5 in the country in attendance. It was an event. People planned their vacations around going to the SEC tournament, the NCAA tournament, you know, and so, you know, I get the arena is going to be, this is the last year for the arena, but that really that has nothing to do with the fact that these kids deserve a whole lot better than what they've gotten. And it's really frustrating. You know, when you can average 9,000 fans a night in a 25,000 person community, we've got what, couple million. And, you know, we're where we are right now. It's really disappointing. And, you know, it's frustrating for me as a coach. You know, but so the answer is these kids they warrant great crowds. I mean, you got a top 10 basketball team in your community and you're not even in the top whatever in attendance. That's sad. And so it's very disappointing. It's frustrating for me as a coach. You know, these kids deserve better. They're fun to watch. I love coaching them, but they play an exciting brand. We ain't out there standing around some high school 2-3 zone playing hope you miss defense. We're playing our rear off. These kids are playing their tail off. They're tough. They're aggressive. They're physical. When you walk out of this arena, whether you got a son or a daughter, you can't help but look at those kids and go, hey, I want you to play like Rory Harmon. I want you to play like Audrey Warren. I want you to play as hard as she does. I want you to be physical and aggressive. I want you to play as hard on both ends as Joe. I mean, I can go down the list of every player on my team. You know, these kids warrant it. They deserve it. And, you know, I get it. You know, I've heard all the excuses. I get all that, but there's no excuse for it. None. And I think we can all share in the responsibility and the accountability of why it hasn't happened. And you guys can tell in my voice, it's a real frustrating part for me, because it's not like that a whole lot of, you know, everywhere else. It just seems to be an issue here for our team. And that's not good.
Thank you for sharing that, Coach. And, you know, we need to take the responsibility, accountability, I guess is a better word. You know, we could do a better job promoting that. And so we'll certainly take your words and heed them and do our part.
Thanks, Terry.
All
Guys, I
thanks
got to
for
go
being
to
here, guys.
practice. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Coach.
Praise the Lord, Nookum.
Thanks, Vic.